10 live wires will be given a unique opportunity to share their creativity with the world and become the next top live wire. I'm your host, Heather Boyd, and this is Live Wires for the Win Season 5. 6 weeks of wire art challenges, countdown to one winner of the grand prize of $100 gift certificate for my Etsy shop, the Top Live Wire 2026 trophy, and $200 in wire and tools from Beadalon. Your judges are wire artist Heather Boyd and multimedia artist and author Patricia Srigley. Hello, Live Wires. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 2 of Live Wires for the Win. Welcome to my fellow judge, Patricia Srigley. Hi, Patricia. Welcome back.
Hi.
Hi. And if you guys don't know, my name is Heather Boyd Wire, and we run the Live Wires for the Win every year. It's a really fun wire art and jewelry making competition where everybody shares their beautiful work, and we start with 10 and wind down to one top live wire. Without further ado, I'm going to open up the voting page, the Google Docs page, where we can see everybody's work. And thank you to all the viewers who have been voting every week for their favorite creation and leaving great feedback for the artists. This week's theme is Wired for Gold. This theme was inspired by the Winter Olympics. As always, this theme can be explored in any way that participants would like. They could make Olympic themed pieces or explore the concept of victory or think outside the box. First, we had Mustafa, and Mustafa writes, "This sculpture represents the inner fire that drives every athlete and every creator to reach for gold. I tried to keep it simple, minimal, and clean, but impactful at the same time. My piece, Olympic Flame, is a wire-only sculpture inspired by the iconic Winter Olympic torch and this week's theme, Wired for Gold. I sculpted the flame using layered strands of red, copper, and gold wire, carefully shaping each curve to mimic the natural rise and flicker of fire, just like a phoenix rising from the ashes. The varying gauges of colors create depth and texture, giving that impression of heat, motion, and energy radiating upward. The cauldron is formed from tightly coiled silver wire designed to contrast with the warm tones of the flame and to echo the sleek metalwork often seen in the Olympic ceremonial pieces. It is mounted on a natural stone base to ground the sculpture and give it a sense of weight, permanence, and ritual significance. The interplay of metallic colors symbolizes passion, perseverance, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. In essence, this piece represents the inner fire that fuels every athlete and every artist as they push towards their own version of gold." We have this one that shows the flames and the cauldron, and there's the close-up of the flames with the different colors. I thought Mustafa did a lovely job this time. His work this week was a little more minimalist, which is always interesting to see. The flames are really unique to be done with coils. It gives it a little bit more massive quality, and I did like the contrast of the cauldron with the silver wire, and it's very simple with a spiral and looks really effective. We did indicate that participants could use a base for their sculptures, so this one works quite well, and he's chosen a rock, which is a very kind of strong, powerful symbol. So overall, it looks really great craftsmanship. Patricia, what did you think of Mustafa's work?
Again, I liked the simplicity of it, and I felt he really captured the dancing flames with coiled wire. And I really liked his well-written description. And he was so thoughtful about every element. That's really impressive that he thought about all those things. And the chalice grounds it. It's solid and clean. Really beautiful work.
Awesome. Great job, Mustafa. So next we have Julie, and Julie writes, "Olympic sun catcher. When I think of gold, it makes me think of the sun. The Olympics instantly makes me think of the Olympic gods. Here is Zeus braving the ice as he participates in the Olympic ice skating competition, lightning bolt in hand." Patricia, what did you think of Julie's work?
Oh, I was really drawn to the sun catcher itself, how she captured the flames of the sun emitting and beaming off the sun. And the fact that she did so many of them really gives the impression of a sun. I thought it was really beautiful. And Zeus, he's well formed, he's strong and determined, skating along with his lightning bolt. So yeah, really beautiful work.
Yeah, I agree. I really love the form of Zeus, just the silhouette outline, and you could tell the bulging muscles, his strength. I'm going to go through the photos. So here it is as a sun catcher in the window. Very cool. Here's a detail of the sun, really beautifully woven, very amazing craftsmanship. I love the lightning bolt with he has a lightning bolt in hand and it's done in the same style as the figure. So it's got a cohesiveness and the fact that it's all attached together, it works as a functional piece as a sun catcher. I'm really drawn to that sun. It's so beautiful, really, really well made. And the skates are so simple. You've got the silhouette of the body with just a little extra wire to do the skates. Details were really, really lovely, but not overdone. It's just a really nice classic piece. And I love the concept of Zeus participating in the Olympics. It's got a bit of whimsy to it as well. Great job, Julie. Next, we have Wendy. Wendy writes, Wired for Gold. Let me start by saying I tried something I've never done before. I don't even know what it's called, but I did wire figures. When I think of Olympics, the first thing that comes to mind is unity of all the countries and the five rings. The other thing is the Olympic torch and the torch bearer which carries the flame. I hope my vision comes to life and you enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed making these. I particularly loved Wendy's rings. I thought they were really, really well made, the way they were braided. I'm going to go through the photos, one on top of each other there, just so you could see them separated. Works really well as a cohesive piece. I love seeing people's in progress pics. So here's a sketch of the flame and then how she's put it together with some weaving. And then the sketch of the figure. Fabulous. Really, really good. And I love the way that the figure has spirals inside. I think it just gives it a sort of a vibrating movement quality. And the other thing that I really thought was effective was the way she's done the flame with just two wires. So there's a black and a red wire, but having that double flame and even the double outline of the figure, it really gives the illusion of movement and speed. So she's put them all together so they work as a cohesive whole, a lot of attention to detail. And I think overall it's a really fun, strong piece.
Yeah, well, I was impressed. She included all the elements of the Olympics, the flame, the rings, the torch bearer. And my eye was drawn to the coils in the torch bearer. I really liked them. They made him more solid and more noticeable. Like Julie's, like he's moving with such determination and strength in the direction. And her photo even has a nice little red arrow pointing, going that way.
Yes, it's
And
true.
the same point you raised, I like how the flame of the large torch does seem to dance because of the extra weaving of the red wire. So yeah, beautiful job.
He does have a stand around back, so it's really great that it's freestanding
Okay.
like that as well. Great job, Wendy. Next, we have Amy B. And Amy writes, Go for the gold. I had so many ideas, but I landed on the iconic Olympic torch and added the rings and the USA to represent my country. I love watching the Olympics, especially when I feel my country can put our differences aside for a common cause and appreciate our athletes and their achievements and contributions. I used a few different techniques to make this piece. It's a standalone design. It was made in several different sections. I used 18 gauge copper and 21 gauge half round copper, 18 gauge brass, 26 gauge brass, and 20 gauge half round brass. I used some hammering for texture, used freehand wire writing for the letters, and wove a multi-wire band for the decoration at the top of the torch. before the flame. So, Patricia, what do you think of Amy B's piece?
As you've said, less can be more. And I feel that Amy captured that in this piece. It's simple, but it's strong and clean, which makes it really stand out. I really like the gold band under the flame. That
Yeah.
was a really nice touch because it's so gold and solid, and the rings are really nicely incorporated into the base under the flames. Beautifully made.
So here's a close-up of the band. It's really very well woven. Looks like there's four pieces woven together, but then another wire that's swirled around. So it really has a sense of solidity, very sculptural. And then the contrast of the more silhouette of the outside of the flame. Very nicely made letters. And the rings, too, they're beautifully made. And I love the way they're all attached together. They're all wound together at the intersections. And she even did a little more detail of the hammering of the handle. So it's nice when a piece has several different techniques and also different tones of wire. So overall, I thought it was a really well-made, well-crafted piece. Good job, Amy. Next, we have Melissa, and Melissa writes, Introducing Olympia. This is the first 3D sculpture I have made with wire. Growing up, my family watched the Winter Olympics together, and our favorite event by far was the women's figure skating. I once begged my mom for a Dorothy Hamill haircut. This sculpture represents the stunning beauty and grace of figure skating. The red skate blades and blue skirts symbolize pride for her country. Her heart embodies the hard work, dedication, and sacrifice that Olympic athletes put into their sport in order to get there. I thought this piece was really, really wonderful. And when I showed this one to Mark, my husband, if you guys don't know, Mark has been making wire art for more than 40 years. He makes little wire bicycles, and he's always idolized Alexandre Calder, who is the grandfather of wire art. And this piece really reminded him and me of Alexander Calder. He did a series of circus figures and very whimsical style of wire art. He was way ahead of his time and has influenced a lot of people in wire art. So this figure is very Calder-esque. I just find it to be a really beautiful shape. It's got a lot of simplicity in it, in the fact that she hasn't really done this kind of figure before, but it comes across really well. And I like the contrasting color with the red and the blue on the silver and then the black of the hair. Here she sent a video that you can
Hmm.
see all around, which is interesting because Calder did a lot of mobiles. So with his mobiles, you can see the work as it turns around. And often with 3D wire sculpture, you really need the different angles of the piece. And I really love that she sent this video so we could see the full impact of the piece and how three-dimensional it is. There's a nice little detail with the heart that's in the contrasting red color. And I like the way the skirt is done with the tangled wire to make it a little bit more massive as well.
Yeah, I found it was really light and ethereal. And even her choice of colors, the silver, which is like ice, and the blue, which is cool. And I felt it really captured, the essence of skating. And I did really like the etherealness of it and the movement. Very beautiful.
And I love that she included a little bit of her nostalgia about wanting a Dorothy Hamill haircut. That's so awesome. It's really fun to get people's backstory a little bit with their piece and what inspires it. People seem to really have a connection with the figure skating competitions in the Olympics, and I can relate to that. I think I used to watch it as well. Fun fact, I still have my Karen Magnuson doll from when I was a kid, and she won the silver medal in the 1972 Olympics. Next, we have Christine, and Christine writes, My favorite sport in the Olympics is figure skating, so I thought I would show a bit more of me in this one. This is only my second sculpture and my first person from wire. Tinned copper and bare copper wires were used from 18 gauge to 26 gauge. The skater is made from twisted and wound wire, while the dress and skates are made from a Kumihimo braid. Her stand is 18 gauge tinned copper. Patricia, what did you think of Christine's piece?
Well, I found it was really interesting because she went in the opposite direction from Melissa, whose piece was light and ethereal. And this one is strong and dense. So it's like they're opposites. I really liked how big her skates were. They really planted the skater. And also, her costume is to me reminiscent of chainmail that knights wore. And so this would protect the skater because they fall a lot on that ice and they're going fast. So, yeah, so lots of dense strength in this one. And even the head, it's very dense. I like that it went in the opposite direction from Melissa's.
You're right. It's quite a contrast to Melissa's piece. Let's go through and see the details. So here's a side view, another angle. I like that she showed the basic figure piece with the wrapped wire. Just that in itself is quite sweet and beautiful. And here's the starting point with the twisted wire. So that's nice to see the progress pics. Let's go back to the main one. The weave is really unique and it really shows up well having been done in a contrasting color. You're right, it does look like chainmail. I hadn't thought about that, but it definitely has that vibe to it. And I see a lot of potential in using that type of weave. The basic twisted wire figure is great. And you see that type of twisted wire armature in a lot of things where they build up, even plaster on top and things like that. But to have started with that base and then added this really unique kind of weave, I found that to be really original. And the position is nice and it stands. And so it's just a really cool, solid piece. Good job, Christine. I actually bought a Kumihimo kit a while ago to make a wire bracelet, but it didn't work out too well. So maybe this is going to motivate me to try again. Next, we have Evelyn, and Evelyn writes, here is my entry for this week. I thought about the symbols of the Olympics, the connected rings, the torch, and the laurel crown of the victor. My biggest hurdle is keeping things simple and knowing when to stop. Patricia, what did you think of Evelyn's piece?
I liked that Evelyn chose something different. So it's a unique idea going back in time to the ancient Olympic athletes when they had the laurel crowns. And I felt, as she said in her write up, that she really tried to keep her design simple, and she did. The simplicity is really makes it a very strong visual piece. I don't know if it's big enough to wear.
There's no scales, so I'm not quite sure, but it could be crown size.
I think it might be, and it'd be very pretty on. And I like how she stylized the leaves and had this original idea. And even the copper is, to me, the ideal color choice for this. Beautiful design.
I agree with you. I really liked her original approach to the challenge, and that's what is so interesting about these themes is people have their own ideas of what direction they want to go. I love the nod to the history and the origins of the Olympics. I really love the beauty of the simplicity of this piece, especially the leaves. They're so interestingly done. I've definitely made leaves out of wire before, but I love the simplicity, just the outline with a little line, not even all the way up to the top to give the impression of the leaf. The material is beautiful. The copper, it's put together really nicely. And I just love the simplicity of this one. And it's a beautiful design. This could be, you could even wear it if it was smaller as a bracelet. Really lovely, simple, beautiful piece. Great job, Evelyn. Next, we have Connie. And Connie writes, I haven't watched the Olympics, but I knew the closing ceremonies were tonight. I made the rings with fireworks coming off them and the eternal flame at the bottom. I've hung the rings on a stand I have made. And Connie sent a few pics, so let's go through and see the pics. here are her rings. They look like bracelets. They're really cool. And she's attached them all together with all the different colors of wire and put them on a stand. This is fabulous. I love the way the rings stand. This could almost be a piece on its own. Very lovely and simple. And look at the little S stand. I think that's great. Very solid. And then she's put it all together. So we have the flames at the bottom and then the fireworks coming out the top. I think this really made it for me having the fireworks on the flame. It's very celebratory, and I love the different ways she's represented fireworks coming off of the rings. And then the flames at the bottom are really, really nice. And they're done with a couple of different colors, and then it's one flame within another with the spiral in the middle of the flame. I think as a design, it works really well. There's a lot of elements to it, but she's tied them all together and made them work together. And the fact that it's freestanding is pretty awesome because it must be a lot of weight on that once you've added all the different elements. But I think it's a really fun piece. Like I said, very celebratory and a very dynamic piece.
I agree with everything you've said. I love the little flames at the base. That was a really nice, thoughtful touch. The way the S of the base reflects the shape of the rings, too, that's an added aesthetic. And I think my favorite part was those lively, playful fireworks shooting off the
I
rings.
love
They're
those.
ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cute. The whole piece, it works well together and it's really beautifully done.
Great job, Connie. Next, we have Sharon, and Sharon writes, of all the things I've wanted to do growing up, being an ice skater has been one of them. So I have a little ice skater figurine to go along with the bouquet of gold flowers that I would get if I won a medal. The flowers have been genetically modified so their tips are the same color as the Olympic rings, which I also made in the form of bangle bracelets. They are wearable and have a unique style. I used copper wire ranging from 26 gauge to 16 gauge. Shout out to Beadalon for their German style 26 gauge gold wire that I used to weave the flowers. Wired for gold is the theme, and I think we all deserve a gold medal. Well, she's right about that. Everybody is just knocking it out of the park with these challenges. Patricia, what did you think of Sharon's piece?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so colorful. The fact that she even included the Olympic colors in the tips of the flowers is nice. And the fact that you can wear these bracelets, that's great. You can, think of the Olympics and have them on your arm. Um, I also really enjoyed how this little skater was so small, so that it made the bouquet and the Olympic rings big dreams for her because she's small and these are her very big dreams. So yeah, I thought this was a really fun piece, beautifully made.
Awesome. So let's just go through. So here's a little pic of the girl, the skater. Let's go through the other pictures. That's the main pic. Another view of the flower and the top view. So you can really see how it's made with the weaving and the winding. And I like this bit on the stem of the flower. It's really cool. Almost looks architectural. So yeah, and I always love Sharon's explanation of her work. She's really thoughtful in how she presents it. Bracelets being separate is a fun idea, like you said, to have a souvenir of the Olympics after the fact. It's a kind of a nice touch. And the genetically modified flower, I think that's awesome. It's so cool. And her figure is so sweet. I love her position. You could really feel her like putting her chest out and doing her moves, and really looks great. I think she's put them on the top of a spool of wire too, so that could be the stand. It all works together, and it's a really fun piece and very effective. And I always love Sharon's addition of the colors. It's really beautiful. Great job, Sharon. Thank you to all the viewers who voted for their favorite creation this week and for leaving all your thoughtful feedback for the participants. I'll link up below where you could read all the viewers' feedback for the work. The viewer's choice for week 2 is Connie. Congratulations, Connie, for being the viewer's choice for week 2. Now comes the fun part where we get to choose the top live wire for week 2. Patricia, would you like to tell me your top 3 participants for week 2?
Yes, it was again very hard this week. Lots of beautiful work. It's just very hard to choose. My top three were Julie, Christine, and Evelyn.
I agree with you. It's always really hard to choose favorites. Each work has its own value, and this is always the most difficult part. My top 3 for week 2 were Evelyn, Melissa, and Wendy. As a result of our numerical scores, the top live wire for week 2, drum roll please, is Evelyn. Congratulations, Evelyn, on being the top live wire for week 2 of season 5 of Live Wires for the Win. And now comes the most difficult part, but it's not goodbye because this year we've brought back the wild card. Thank you, Amy C., for submitting for the wild card this week. We are keeping your image on file, and for the finale, we will be going through all the wild card submissions to choose an extra person to be in the finale. So the 2 people that will be eligible for the wild card this week, but that won't be back next week, are Amy B. and Connie. Thank you so much, ladies, for taking the time to participate in Live Wires for the Win and for sharing your amazing creations. We really hope that you're going to continue send in photos of your work each week to be eligible for the wild card. Thank you so much, Patricia, for being a judge on Live Wires for the Win and for your amazing feedback for the participants. Thank you to all the Live Wires for sharing your incredible creations, and we'll see you the next time. Bye.